Melissa, we get it. You like sex.
Definitely needs to be older.
Yeah, only because younger. Like, that's what I've been on a weekend basis.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you are already subscribed. If you're not, make sure you do. My name is Queenie, for those who don't know me, reviewing Married at First Sight Australia Season 10, Episode 1. My guilty pleasure is back. And have they started with the mess? Oh my gosh, yes they have. Yes, they have. Before I get into it, please make sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. So, I'm not surprised the show has garnered a whole lot of worldwide success. I just know that with more eyes means more gimmicks, means more drama, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, as if there wasn't enough already, but whatever, it's fine. We're gonna start at the hen's party. Lyndall is the first to arrive. She is a 27-year-old woman who is living with cystic fibrosis.
It's essentially that the cells in the lungs don't work properly. And usually over time, you end up losing lung function. This new drug, the Trikafta, it's been predicted to add another 40 years to the life expectancy. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, oh my God, like, I'm gonna be able to get married. I definitely don't want to waste any more time.
So I did already do a first impressions on everybody. You can watch that video, I think right here. So I'm not gonna do a detailed synopsis of everyone, but when I first read her bio, I was concerned, mainly because a lot of people hear something like cystic fibrosis and they think, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be a part of it. But in her favor, she did get approved for this clinical trial that has been working for her. And honestly, a lot of marriages barely make 40 years to begin with. So listen, I feel like she's got a great life ahead of her. God willing that the medication does continue to work for her. And if she can find somebody, which I feel like she has, if she can find somebody who takes this on in stride and is going to look at her and not look past her because of the diagnosis, then everything will be great. She is joined by Bronte and Melissa, who is a self-proclaimed freak in the sheets.
I am sassy, I am loud, and I love to spice things up. I love role-playing. Yeah, sex is huge for me. I've dated, and of course we've had, weekend warriors.
She was very open about sex and I loved it.
Personally, I hope to be this sexually liberated at 41. I can't even lie to you. To be this confident and vivacious and just ready to grab love by the horns, you know what I mean? One horn in particular. Like, I love that for her. She starts to put it on a little thick, and we'll talk about that later, but I still like it. Sandy is an Indian Punjabi, actively going against her parents' wishes by being a part of the MAPS experiment.
I've been constantly fighting that battle between being a first-generation Australian and always pleasing my parents. Talking to boys, having male friends was not the norm. So even though I'm 36, I feel like a 20-year-old in the dating world.
I'm sorry, like, I'm here for the diversity. I love it, but I feel like this is a recipe for disaster. Because, like, the lack of parental support and then also the lack of male experience, both romantically and platonically. I get the diversity quota, but we could have found somebody else. Like, I don't feel like this is going to work for her. I hope it does, but I don't know. Among the women who also joined the hen party is Melinda, who is living my dream.
I started with $600 and it's now a 7-figure business. My main business is an online cosmetic brand. I've got 4 businesses on the go at the moment.
They better partner her up with somebody who does not have a fragile ego and doesn't do that whole bravado thing, because she will easily chew a man up and spit him out. I fully believe that. And even if she's not that kind of person, her career alone is going to intimidate somebody who isn't ready for that kind of success in his partner. So, pray for Melinda. Melinda is talking to Melissa Yeah. And, you know, Melissa's basically like, it's your husband. You're supposed to have sex. You're supposed to get freaky and whatever. And it's like, yeah, but you're doing a lot.
Multiple.
Okay.
I want to bang my husband on the first night.
You're gonna
Are you? Are you not?
Probably not.
Wow. You just got married to him and now you don't want to sleep with him.
Because I don't know him.
Are you serious?
I fear calling Melissa a nympho just because I don't want to like sex shame or kink shame. I feel like your sexual liberation is yours to have, is yours to express. My only fear is, will she be partnered with somebody where she's more focused on the sexual connection than building a personal connection and a long-lasting connection? And even in the trailer, it seemed like that might be the case. I think one guy was complaining that he feels like he's just a piece of meat. I'm pretty sure he's partnered with Melissa. So yeah, I want her to dial it back a bit. Like, it's fine until it becomes crude. On to the Bucks night. Cameron is the first to join, and basically he's a nomad without the livestock.
Being so far away from everyone, it's not easy to meet girls at all. I work a lot out in remote Indigenous communities, like 900 k's from Darwin. Yeah, I do get a bit lonely. I'm going in this experiment well out of my comfort zone.
Honestly, as long as he's not partnered with like a big city girl or a girl who just doesn't like the country life, like you might not be a big city person, but like country living is just not your thing, then I think it's okay. But him living in remote places, and he does seem like a humanitarian, which is great, that's a plus. But yeah, always out there in the wild, away from civilization and all that, I don't know how many women are going to be okay with that, especially women applying for MAFS. How did he even, why would MAFS even intrigue him? Oh, I guess because, you know, left to his own devices, he hasn't been able to work it out. So having experts do it. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I take it back. Oh, also, before I get off of him, this would be his first relationship. First relationship. I hope he's a guy who's really able to compromise, because I feel like he loves his nomadic lifestyle, his country living, and being with somebody who might not be okay with that requires compromise. But just being in relationships in general requires compromise, which he's never experienced. So I'm just like, I'm real. At this point of the episode, I'm really weary. Next to join him is Adam, Ollie, and Jesse. Jesse's gonna be a piece of work because this man is so picky, like beyond.
Most people, when they first meet me, would describe me as pretty arrogant and cocky. I get that all the time. My fussiness is like the bane of my single existence.
Pumped up lips, long eyelashes, powerlifted. The wine stops, taste this wine, the tannins, the grapes they use. Shut the up.
I understand having your preference for physical characteristics. You know, maybe the big lips doesn't work for you, the full-on makeup doesn't work for you. But this man is like, he has an issue with people who are gym buffs. Like, you ain't gotta date a gym buff. If you don't like that, don't go over there. He doesn't like wine snobs or whatever. Like, again, if you don't like that, you don't have to go over there. Like, he loves rock, doesn't he? What if somebody was like, oh yeah, I don't like people who do rock and whatever. He probably would call them out for being like surface level or what's the word, superficial or whatever. And it's like, you're doing the same thing. I feel like he's gonna give his wife a lot of pushback, and I'm not ready. Next to join is Duncan, who seems like a jock, but he's really a sweetheart.
Work hard, play hard is probably a bit of my mantra. Yeah, I'm a hopeless romantic, I'd like to think. I want that love that knocks your socks off.
How's his jaw? God. You could crack a beer open on his jaw, it's that chiseled.
He reminds me of Anthony from last season. Anthony was kind of like the same build, a bigger guy, like the jock kind of guy. But when it came to love, he was so sweet. And I think he had like a daughter or a niece that he took care of, something like that. Like, he was just so sappy and you wouldn't expect it because of how he looked. And Duncan is giving that same kind of vibe. I hope he doesn't go through what Anthony went through, because he was just ill-partnered. So yeah, let's hope to get Duncan somebody good. On to the real jock of the season, we have Harrison. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm gonna be completely honest. At this point of the episode, at this point of the episode, okay? I was looking at him like, you know, I don't like cockiness, but am I oddly attracted to this?
I'll be honest, I'm a bit upset they didn't take me over to the hens.
I would definitely describe myself as fun, adventurous, outgoing, spontaneous. If you find a better guy, I'll beat him by 10%.
This man is either going to be the life of the party or the death of the party. He's going to come in, bring the energy, want to get everybody riled up. Well, not riled up, but like everybody hyped up. Or get everybody riled up and start problems and kill the vibe immediately. I'm leaning towards the latter. So on to the actual matchmaking. The first couple we have is Cameron and Lyndall. Because we've already gone through their bios a little bit in the beginning and also in the first impressions video, I'm just gonna kind of skim through it. But they're both looking for somebody who's adventurous and really open to love.
Her whole life has changed since finding this wonder drug. Yes. And so now she's got this new lease on life, which is amazing.
They both have a very similar mindset of this is a new chapter, this is a new beginning.
They're both into adventure. I think this is going to be a huge adventure for both of them that they can actually share in.
So my concern at this point is that her new lease on life might make her want to explore things that she may never get to do, but those things might be tied to a city type of living. You know what I mean? I don't know if she'd want to live a remote life because that could feel like a death sentence in itself, you know? Like we don't really do much. Out here, it's just us and the wild and the dog and whatever. He does do humanitarian work, so maybe that'll be the balance. I'm not sure. But yeah, I do think that they're a good match, like fundamentally, but it's going to be the lifestyle that's going to determine whether or not it will last. At the wedding, they are both very eager to meet each other, and it's clear that the attraction is present.
God, the man bun's great. The moustache is great. The eyes are great.
Gobsmacked. Like, she had this massive smile that could lighten up a room.
You guys, the way I had the feels, my heart was just glowing. The way these two were so giddy to just be around each other, and they're like, oh, he's cute, she's cute. I loved it. And their vows, I think they talked about chivalry. Like he said he will be chivalrous and treat her like a best friend. She said she's looking for somebody who's intentional and wanting a long-lasting love. And I'm like, yes, honey, I think you found it.
Can I?
It's gorgeous.
I know it's literally the first episode, but they're my front runners. They are my front runners. I already know Jessie in the next episode is not going to be one of my favorites. So already out of 3 couples, they're my number 1. I already know that for a fact. In the reception, they're getting along great. He's meeting the family. The family loves him and everything. She tells him about having cystic fibrosis and he takes it very well.
I have a chronic illness called cystic fibrosis. I don't know if you know anything about it.
I know about it. So one of my close mates lost one of his girlfriends to CF. Took a lot of courage for her to sit down and tell me that. And I respect every part of it. I'm stoked that she's got this second chance in life.
He's already familiar with cystic fibrosis because of his friend's partner who had it. I think it was the partner who had it as well. And literally, he could not have handled the situation any better. Like, he was absolutely stellar in handling it. It seems like he's not letting that deter the connection that they've already formed. I have high hopes. And where I also had high hopes was with the next connection being Bronte and Harris. They both have like similar backgrounds. They have similar history and relationships. So you would think like, oh my gosh, this is a great match.
Harrison has a very strong dominant energy about him, but it's a defense mechanism. Don't let his appearance fool you.
I fell in love with my ex from the moment I looked at her. We were together for a year. When we found out we were pregnant, decided to propose. The hardest part of that split for me was losing my son.
I'm all about that old school love, that old school respect, and those old school values. I know what love looks like, and I think that's why I haven't settled into anything, because it hasn't matched up to that. These days,
people don't just want one person on the go, they've got like 10.
They're both into old school love and have great examples of that, with both of their parents being in long-term loving relationships, which is great. However, it is true that Harrison uses his vibrato as a defense mechanism. He has been in love before deeply, and the dissolution of that relationship led to him losing his son, or like having a relationship with his son. It's just not as consistent as it used to be. So I'm sure he tries to be this macho man to push women away, and unfortunately, like that I don't see Bronte being the type of woman who's like, it's okay, I'll see through all of that. No, she wants a loving man, a chivalrous man, an intentional man, and this vibrato, if you want to truly connect with Bronte, is gonna have to be thrown out the window. At the wedding, Bronte's sister and friends don't get the best impression of Harrison, but he quickly redeemed himself.
You're a lucky man. You're a lucky man.
She's not doing too badly herself.
Seems quite cocky. He might just be nervous. Just be a nice person, please. Just be a nice person.
I'm gonna be honest, when you walked down there, I was like a little bit nervous, but you literally took my breath away.
Oh, stop.
I do, let's go. Bronte legitimately blew me away.
Like, I don't understand why he's putting on such a front to be this big guy, like, head honcho. Like, for what? Like, when he's sweet, he's so sweet. And the compliments he was giving her, it felt genuine. He said he's fallen in love at first sight before. This felt very reminiscent to something like that. So I'm just like, I don't understand why you can't just be yourself. You know? Anyways, in their vows, she promised to be open-minded and honest about her intentions, while he promised to be open, honest, loyal, and a team player. He's not being very much of a team player though, because at the reception, Bronte's friend Jessica, I think her name is Jessica, was feeling uneasy because she knows who Harrison is, and she pulls Bronte inside and says, hey, I got something to tell you.
He's pretty much been planning a future with this young girl, and he's planning on being with her after this experience. He's dating someone else and telling this young girl that he's planning on being with her after this experience. She sent me a picture saying he's packing his bags and he's about to go get married to someone on maths.
There is always speculation of people using shows like this as a platform while dating on the outside, or having plans to exploit the relationship for fame and all that kind of stuff. But we typically hear of these scandals after the show has wrapped. After the show during, they haven't even gotten to the honeymoon and we're already being exposed for scandals. I cannot. But Bronte, being the bad bee that she is like, I'm not even gonna let this linger. Harrison, come over here. Who's this girl?
Who's the 20-year-old that you have on the outside?
I was seeing a number of girls before I came into this. I'm a single guy in Sydney, but I'm not in a relationship with anyone. They're just people that I was seeing. In the lead up to this, I was actually saying, like, I kind of wish that this was you that I was going into this with.
I get that he's technically single, but if you were already in the process, I'm sorry, but you have to act as a person who's engaged. That's just my belief. Yes, these marriages aren't legal. They aren't legal in Australia. They are in the States though. So I understand, like, yeah, he's literally still a single person, but it just shows a lack of intention. It shows deceit. Like, you're a deceitful person. Like, and I guess we have to appreciate the honesty, because he was being honest and saying, yeah, there were women I was talking to and probably would have linked up with after the show and whatever. So maybe I can't use deceit in this case, but it's very shady. The sister had every right to question his intentions. She was vindicated in this moment, learning that he is not to be trusted. So we will see how this pans out. I don't see a long marriage for these two. Don't even think they'll make it to the first ceremony, to be honest, but we'll see how it goes. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one.